If it was like death in a polo match, like somebody set her up, that like she murdered someone with one of those mallets at like the Kentucky Derby or fucking
It should
somewhere.
have been. Wait, first of all, the Kentucky Derby is not polo.
No, I'm just giving whatever. They were at the Kentucky Derby. The mallet was there, and she beat someone over the head while they were yachting, and she poisoned the escargot. That shit she could get herself out of. Yeah. Anything else, she's lost.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down to Nakatomi Tower after Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat the Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons. Alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
Each week, we take a look back in time, decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you'd like to see all the movies we have covered, will cover, and want to choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with a number of wipes each movie takes to get off your respective butts. So, thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV. We review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all information at past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you would like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel, where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are we reviewing tonight?
So, Gene, tonight's commissioner, Rob H., great supporter of the podcast. He's commissioned, I think it's now like 8 movies. I want to give him a value add. Our commissions, it's a lot of money for a lot of people. It's difficult economic times. So I want to give him something. So I thought it would be fun because this podcast began before the AI revolution. Our early podcast where we mention it was very rudimentary. So I want to see if we could leverage AI in a way that would be a value add for our commissioners. And when you have a commissioner like Rob, who's now on movie 8, I was going to feed AI a lot of data, and I wanted it to tell me a little bit about Rob H. Maybe Rob H. can learn something about himself. So I fed his commissions. He's done Rapid Fire, The Hitcher, Negotiator. Tonight's film, Double Jeopardy. Upcoming, he's got The Power of One, Mr. Holland's Opus, Dave, and Kissed a Girl. So here is what AI said about Rob. And Rob, I hope you find some inner sight into who you are. It said, Rob likes competent people under pressure. Samuel L. Jackson, framed corruption. Ashley Judd, framed for murder. C. Thomas Howell, Hunted Across America. Morgan Freeman, tracking a serial killer. Kevin Kline, accidentally becoming president. So it said that Rob repeatedly praises improvisation, resilience, determination, whatever it costs, and adapting under pressure. He loves the 90s thrill guy. He likes fugitive stories, serial killer thrillers, paranoia movies, revenge stories. He really enjoys prioritizing atmosphere, tension, pacing, practical effects. And he, as a person, he likes moral decency. That at his core, I think, is Rob H's defining characteristic as far as AI. He likes fairness, loyalty, redemption, protecting family, and good people surviving corruption. So I then asked it, I said, what do you think would be the movies that Rob would most likely commission in the future? So Rob, you tell me if this is correct. AI said, most likely you would commission Breakdown, starring Kurt Russell, J.T. Walsh, and Catherine Quinlan, because Rob would think it's tailor-made for him, an ordinary guy trapped in a nightmare situation, incredibly tense, desert atmosphere, protagonist forced to adapt under pressure. It then said 2, and I could see Rob doing this, Copycat, with Sigourney Weaver, Holly Hunter, Harry Connick Jr., 90s psychological thriller, atmosphere, strong performances, emotional vulnerabilities. Rob likes intelligent thrillers, prioritizing tension, character over spectacle. This feels exactly in his wheelhouse. And the last one was A Perfect World. Kevin Costner, Clint Eastwood, Laura Dern. And Rob would like this because it's the one that matches his emotional sincerity perfectly. It's humane, nostalgic, character-driven, and emotionally bittersweet. Rob repeatedly responds to movies with decency and warmth under tension. And this movie would be it. So, Rob, thank you for your commissions. I think you are a deep, insightful listener, and we appreciate you. So hopefully, let us know if these would match your inner self, and let us know what you think AI thinks about you.
Is that a Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini?
That is ChatGPT.
Yeah. It's got a little optimism in there.
I think Rob is a very optimistic fellow. If you listen to him, it's all about, he likes that the movies place him in a specific time. It's an anchor for him emotionally, Gene. And that's a positive thing.
Well, speaking of Rob's worldview, he wrote in and said, "Morning crew of Shat. Well, my second batch of films is sadly coming to an end, and hopefully I'm going to finish on a high note. You can't see it, but my fingers are crossed. And boy, do I need it, as Rapid Fire and The Hitcher absolutely bombed with both of you. Very low scores, so I need some redemption on this one, big time. And who better to help with this than a 1990s hot as hell Ashley Judd, who leads my final commission, Double Jeopardy, from 1999. Double Jeopardy is a simple film done well, in my humble opinion. Doting wife framed for murder she didn't commit, finds out her husband framed her, goes to prison, gets a little depressed, has a revelation, and then gets fit in prison, Rocky-like training montage alert, plots revenge, and hunts down her scumbag husband, whatever the cost, reunites with her son, and happy ending. Like I said, simple. But for this film, I think it works. Yes, we have probably seen some of this before, many times in fact, but there are a few twists and turns along the way, and it keeps you focused until the end of the film. There are some beautiful shots throughout, and the locations look stunning. New Orleans looks great at the end of the movie. I'm sure Ash would even approve. And overall, I think it's a good-looking movie for the 90s. And talking about good looking, did I mention that Ashley Judd looks gorgeous in this film? I've always liked her, and I honestly think she can act pretty well and pulls this off as the lead character in Double Jeopardy. She has a look that isn't the normal Julia Roberts, Sharon Stone, Kim Basinger, or Cameron Diaz beauty from the 90s, but I think she has something different. She is naturally attractive and sexy and looks great even in prison clothes. But when she dressed up for the gala at the end of the movie, yes, please. Stunning. As you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of hers, which is exactly why she's featuring in some of my next commissions later this year as well. Add Morgan Freeman holding a gun into the mix, and honestly, what more could you want? Anyway, back to Double Jeopardy. The other supporting cast members are very good as well. Bruce Greenwood as the sleazy, suave, charming, deceitful, manipulative husband Nick. Pulls it off well, although I don't know what the cigar sucking and rolling thing is all about. Slightly weird, suggestive. Let's go with it. Tommy Lee Jones is excellent as Travis, the grumpy parole officer, and it's nice to see him back in a role where he is chasing people down, and there are definitely throwback vibes to him as Samuel Gerard from The Fugitive. I think his transition from unliked, stereotyped parole officer to caring human being at the end of the movie is well done and quite touching. The film is slow in a couple places, but it's still a favorite of mine. Hence the commission, and one I always like to rewatch. My 16-year-old daughter actually watched this with me, and even though she was as enthusiastic as a concrete hang gliding instructor at the start of the movie, she really enjoyed it and said it was actually, quote, really good. High praise indeed. So, to the wipe score. To say I'm a little apprehensive is an understatement, but here goes. I think it's a 1.9 wipe movie. Don't know if 1.9 is allowed. I'm going with it. Bring on the review, fellas. I have thick skin and a therapist on speed dial. Thanks always, Big D and Gene. It's been a pleasure to be involved in the podcast again. Wishing you and your families a wonderful summer. Keep up the awesome work. Keep the reviews coming. Until next time, Rob H., the UK one.
Rob, that score could have been possible before Gene beat the individuality out of me. I used to want to come up with like 1.9, 1.8, and he would berate me about how that wasn't with the system.
There is no way that you are as fine-tuned as to give the granularity into the decimal points on podcasts and films. It's just, it's impossible. It's impossible. You're not that guy. You're not a film sommelier. You're a film Yelp reviewer.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying they were accurate. It was how I felt. I could feel inside.
Vibes. Okay.
Yeah, it was I'm a big vibe guy, right? I wasn't tasting the oakiness of the cask in the barrel that my wine was kept in. I'm just, it's just, I had a feel for that.
Yeah. And for vibes, you got whole numbers. And I'm even allowing, in my benevolent old age, I'm allowing the half points, the half wipes.
I'm so lucky you're growing and mellowing in your old age here in fatherhood. But, Rob says the gala, he focuses on that dress, that wardrobe for Ashley Judd. I completely disagree. I think the mark of a true beauty is when you can stand out when you're not trying to. Anyone can wear makeup, a Versace, a Gucci dress. When a woman can look great in a bandana, sweatpants, a jeans, t-shirt, that's the mark of a beauty.
I think this stems from you being intimidated by women who are too put together.
Wow, that is...
I think you like them. I'm not saying anything about Vanessa. I'm saying that you're taking any woman, right? Yeah. You would like her in her frumpy mode because you're not intimidated.
No. Oh, well, I'll tell you right now, that was a shot across the bow. I heard the crack of that round. It went right. It was close.
Yeah.
That was close. Yeah. I'm going to put my head down. Yes, there is that little bit of my psyche that I did like the damaged or not the tens, right? But even the beautiful girls, even when Vanessa doesn't try, that's when I think she's her most beautiful. That's my take.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I agree with you that I think my wife is beautiful when she's not trying. I guess what I'm saying is that, do you get a weird feeling when women do it up? And is that weird feeling a feeling of being maybe insufficient or intimidated?
No, I think it goes back to my other thought. In multiple podcasts, I've said that women should often be charged with false representation.
Yes, I remember.
That it's because push-up bra, hair color, colored contacts, high heels, you're altering someone's complete appearance, and I've had an issue with that. I think it's false advertising. Mm-hmm. So it's not a question that I'm intimidated by it, but I just like when women don't try so hard. I think the makeup, it's going over the top. It doesn't look like who they are. And this Ashley Judd, this version of Ashley Judd, super hot. She's that skinny athletic. She's vibrant. She's got the bandana, like I said, on her head. She's got her hair pulled back. She's tan. And that sex scene, Gene, on the boat, she is riding on top of Nick. That's no body double. She's got the butt dimples. Incredible skin, she's young, she's incredibly sexy, tight body. Then we get a breast shot. And, to be fair for the ladies, Nick looks pretty good in that too. So these are two beautiful people having sex. It's hot, it's sexy. And even though it was only 20 seconds, both Rob and I, it stuck with us.
For people who have not seen Double Jeopardy ever or recently, just note that Ashley Judd's bandana, we're not talking Brandon Lee and rapid fire bandana. She's sailing a ship. She's like in a bikini top with a bandana on. It's cute. It's attractive. It's not cholo. Okay. Like it's a good look. But Rob, this is another huge movie that falls within I had just started college, like movie blackout period. I think in 1999, the only movies I saw were either pirated or in a random living room at like 3 a.m. I'd never heard of Double Jeopardy. I was surprised to discover when I went looking for it that there are actually 3 movies with the same title, completely different plots, and I'm assuming this is the best of the 3. Double Jeopardy is a 1999 crime thriller starring Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee Jones, and Bruce Greenwood. Released on September 24th, 1999, the film received mixed reviews from critics and grossed $177 million. Let's hit the trailer.
In every life.
Hey, you know what, kiddo? I don't think I want you to grow up. Who's gonna go sailing with me then?
In every love.
If you like it, it's yours.
If I like it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a moment.
We should do this more often. Go away, just the 2 of us, with nobody else around.
Never to be forgotten.
Nick?
Put the knife down, ma'am, and step away!
I don't know where my husband is.
Nick bought life insurance policies.
Nick wanted to make sure that we'd be okay.
There's a big difference between okay and $2 million. The jury may see it as a motive.
I didn't kill my husband.
Libby Parsons is in prison for a crime she didn't commit.
I'd like you to adopt my son. Money won't be a problem. It isn't about money. Thank you.
Now the only way back to her son is to find out what really happened.
Hi, Mommy.
Hello, sweetie pie.
Daddy.
Nick? Nick?
You ever hear something called double jeopardy? The state says you already killed your husband. They can't convict you of it a second time. That means that when you leave here, you can kill him. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Makes you feel warm and tingly all over, don't it?
Paramount Pictures presents.
Who's this?
That's somebody I'm looking for.
Pretty girl?
Oh, yeah, she's very pretty for a convicted murderer.
What are you looking for?
A friend I haven't seen for a couple years.
And you died in the accident. Poor Simon. I've never seen anyone so grief-stricken.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's over, Libby.
You cannot know what it is like to sit in prison and think of nothing else in the world but your son. Did I make the right choice? I didn't have a choice.
You ever arrest anybody you thought was innocent, but you can't prove it?
She is in New Orleans. She does have a gun. She is looking for you.
She believes that I'm her husband, whom she killed.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Nick. I learned a few things in prison. I could shoot you in the middle of Mardi Gras and they can't touch me.
Double Jeopardy.
Where's my son?
During a sailing trip in a bandana, Libby Parsons awakens to find blood everywhere and her husband, Nick, missing. The Coast Guard arrive after receiving a call from Nick and find Libby on the boat holding a bloody knife. She is convicted of murder and asks her friend Angela to adopt her son, Maddie, while she is in prison. When Angela stops bringing Maddie to visit, Libby tracks her to San Francisco and calls her, demanding to speak to Maddie. During a phone conversation with Maddie, Nick enters Angela's apartment and Maddie calls out "Daddy" before the phone disconnects.
So I know lately we've had a history of trying to rewrite films or trying to retcon them or trying to improve them somewhat. So I don't want to do that again, but you have to differentiate yourself when you're a new movie, right? You have to stand out on the shelf or on the poster. So I get the whole Double Jeopardy hook. You know, people are, oh, wow, that's an original plot. That's an original idea. But I think it hurts the way that they roll it out in the movie. When you give it away immediately, the title, the premise, the poster, the trailer, the title, you already know the husband's alive. You know the whole, I can kill him now. I get a free pass. You hear them having the discussion in prison. It's given away. So then the scene on the boat where she's covered in blood, this could have been like a genuine mystery. Start it off and just call it something else. It doesn't give it away. We meet the family. We meet the husband and wife, their idyllic waterside mansion, their dream life. And then this murder happens. We don't know. Is she psychotic? Is there somebody else who's trying to frame her? Is there a killer on the boat? Why not do this where the tension and the mystery can remain even a little bit? And I think the movie would have been much better for it.
Absolutely. I take it a step further, Big D. I love this idea and build on it. And this isn't retconning. This isn't rewriting the movie. In fact, this is like valid criticism. What we're saying is we enjoyed this film. It would have been a better film if they had held on to the reveal. It is supposed to be a thriller. It's supposed to be suspenseful. Give us some suspense. But now let me take my chance at rewriting. I think instead of being innocent wifey, all goo-goo-eyed over Dr. Grant, Libby, she should be an intelligent, informed woman. Right? She's a wife who maybe knows about the money problems. She's maybe actually pissed about the boat, right? He bought her this boat. She knows they can't afford it. She's mad the way I'm mad whenever the King Bee buys a really cool new gun. I'm like, yeah, fuck, it's a cool gun, dude. Don't get me wrong. But also, like, you don't have the money for this. So maybe some witnesses saw her upset at the party and maybe she gets deposed. And during the deposition, she reveals that there is this money angle, that, you know, they were in debt, that he was on the verge of bankruptcy, and they build this case against her, throw some blood in the water, mix things up, and leave us wondering a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that, because instead we're introduced to this dream wealthy lifestyle. And it's hard for me to be compassionate. It's unrelatable. You meet them. They've got this house. It's right on the water in Seattle. Immediately, I'm thinking of all the tech billionaires. Oh, I've got a sailboat. Who the fuck's got a sailboat, right? They have an indoor pool. They've got catered staff, this beautiful party with all of their wealthy friends, having wealthy conversations, ultra rich. And I'm just like, oh, shit, okay. But then the murder happens. So now all of a sudden she's stunned. And I'm watching this now as an adult, and I have a better idea now of how the legal system works, how things actually play out. I work in marketing, you do as well. Well, I understand that selling the story, that if you don't control the narrative, somebody else will. So watching this now, there is no way that this woman, this ultra rich family, that this woman, this wife could be blindsided by this case. There's no way. The second there was blood on that boat, Husband's missing. The attorney would have reached out and said, hey, don't say anything to the police. But it would have been clear. Shut your mouth. I'm not leaving your side. She's not casually talking to the police. She's not taking walks on the beach. Rich people immediately do one thing. They wrap themselves in a cocoon of lawyers, PR people, advisors, family friends. Everybody will hunker down. You stay safe and you protect them. She is an attractive white woman who's wealthy with expensive attorneys. When the judge says no bail, I'm like, that is not the way this works. She would have been back that night in her house with bond, and they would have had PIs, everybody working on this case.
I think the movie does make an attempt to sort of soften the arrest. The sheriff who she knows, Cutter, shows up. They bring Bobby, like the lawyer, in his weekend outfit to come over and talk to her, explain what's going on there. But I agree, Big D. In reality, she's going to have a team of attorneys. And really, there is no reason to deny bail. Okay, this woman has a kid who lives in the community. She has no criminal history, I assume. She didn't attempt to flee after all this happened, right? So husband goes missing. She's back at home. It's not like she absconded with the kid. She's there, clearly not trying to flee. And you're right. Tons of attorneys would appear. Libby would have years of appeals. They're going to get blood spatter experts and be like, how did this, killing even occur? Is there a possibility that somebody else, which I thought was a pretty plausible defense, which they do present in this movie, which is like, yeah, somebody came aboard, fucking stabbed him, killed him, didn't kill her. That's reasonable. She slept through it. And at the very least, they would have a toxicology test, right? Oh, you were drinking the night of? Let's check your blood and make sure nothing went on there. And as Double Jeopardy got going, I was convinced with all these issues that it was going to be a Shatter's paradise, right? We got these legal loopholes. We got a lover's triangle. We got prison scenes. Like everything about this movie was suggesting that we were going to pluck at threads to our heart's content. And we did get, to be fair, a lot of ridiculous shit. But I was shocked, and Rob alluded to this, at how annoyingly competent Double Jeopardy is. There were so many points in the movie where I went, oh, bullshit. And then they answered it immediately after, right? So like there was enough evidence, there was enough motive for a jury to convict. It's reasonable to think that if the lawyers didn't do a great job and she wasn't smart enough to lawyer up, that a jury would convict her. Maddie, I'm like, he's going to fucking tell his mom if she gets an opportunity to talk to him. But no, they keep him from his mom to avoid him from spilling the beans when they do visit, right? And then I'm like, okay, when she's in prison and she finds out that Nick is alive, why doesn't she try to get some investigators to look into it? Boom. She's calling, of all people, the smartest people to call, the insurance company, and saying, hey, you peed out $2 million. Don't you want to get your money back? Because this guy is alive. Get some investigators on it. It's not airtight. It's not perfect, but for this genre, the summer blockbuster action thriller, they covered most of the obvious bases.
Yeah, I was expecting a Shatter's Paradise. I thought Bobby had to have been involved. The attorney, because he's giving her lukewarm advice.
Yeah.
He's allowing her almost to stumble into this conviction. I thought maybe we would find out later on that he was involved in whatever financial theft was going on at his companies, and he was somehow involved. But I want to ask you this, Gene, right? We know now the whole story, how it plays out, and anyone who's watched the trailer knows. Is there any chance that Nick actually was trying to protect her? Because later on, he makes the comment, and again, Nick is a sociopath, but why did he not say on the tape to the Coast Guard, I was stabbed, my wife? Why not say that? That one statement would have been the nail in her coffin, right? By not saying that, he may have given Libby the chance that he gets out of the debt. He goes off with his new life. She is then left with some kind of security blanket. He moves on with the money that he's stolen. Do you think there's even like a 5% chance?
I don't think so. Just the way that he set things up, a 5% chance, no, a 1% chance. Maybe, but then by trying to like fucking entomb her in a mausoleum, I think he throws that one right out the window.
But why not do, I was stabbed, Libby, like one of those. Like even The Fugitive.
It's too much. The jury wouldn't buy it. They'd be like, it seems a little.
Why? The Fugitive, they bought it when she says her husband's name.
Yeah, that's true.
It would have worked.
He should have really thrown him for a loop and been like, I was stabbed, Maddie. Like, what? The kid? Inmate Margaret, a former lawyer, says that Libby can kill Nick with impunity due to the double jeopardy clause in the U.S. Constitution, Fifth Amendment specifically. After 6 years in prison, Libby is paroled and breaks into Maddie's old school to get Angela's records. As her parole officer, Travis Lehman, tries to take Libby back to prison, she drives his car off a ferry in Puget Sound, grabs his gun, and swims to shore. Going to her mother, she gets emergency cash and an old pickup truck.
So Nick is obviously the biggest villain, right? He's the one who sets all this in motion. He's a sociopath. He kills at least a couple people that we know of, but as the film goes here, we start to see that the conspiracy, it's darker than just a husband betraying his wife, financial theft, the friend, Angie. I think she's a bit worse than the husband because once Nick is done with his whole fake crime scene, he's out of the loop. He doesn't have to face Libby again. But now you got Angie. Angie has to continue the deception with a friend. It continues on. She has to continually use Libby's son and this false narrative that they're creating around this. You have to bring this child to jail and smile in your friend's face and be like, oh, thank you. I'm going to take care of your son. How do you pull that off believably to convince your friend to give custody of your child to you while you're fucking her husband, going off, creating a new life, and leaving you to spend your life in jail possibly? That's a different level of manipulation.
All right, you asked me if it's possible that, Nick, even a 5% chance, thought that maybe this was a good plan and wasn't trying to throw Libby under the bus. I got to say, is it possible that Libby was a bit of a C word to Angie, right? Like, she kind of brought it on herself. She's saying shit like, how are we going to marry you off, Angela? Basically
100%.
teasing her with all the Nick dick that she's getting. She's like just making out with Nick right in front of her. You like this guy? Yeah. Nick is a fucking manipulator. He blew her up. Okay. I don't blame Angie all that much. I think he got in her head. He was using her as a tool. And honestly, pretty white rich lady Libby, I think, pushed in. You don't know Angela's background. Maybe she comes from a hard Scrabble existence, and this really pushed all her buttons.
But here's a question for you, Gene. Is there any situation as a new dad? I want to leverage your parenthood. Is there any situation? Because later on we find out that Libby has family. She's got mom and dad. Yeah. Mom's got some money buried with the potatoes or whatever the hell she buried it with. Tomatoes. In any situation, why would you not? We didn't see her parents at the trial. Why would you ever consider giving custody of your child, which I don't even think she had to do? You could have at least put it in some kind of temporary. Why would you not? Why would you not give it to the parents, the grandparents? Keep it in the family. There's no friend I would ever choose to give custody of my child. I love you, Gene. I love you, your wife, your beautiful family. Yeah. But I'm not like, hey, Emma, you're going to go live with Gene in Arizona.
You don't want her to live. You don't want her to live with the former college volleyball player and physical therapist who could bring out all of her best athletic abilities and lead her to a scholarship and then perhaps into the medical field and have a very successful life. Combined with a little girl to grow up with as a sister.
Fuck. See, wow. This is why you are definitely Angie. Yeah. You might have gotten me to do that. Vanessa's dead, right? Or Vanessa's off. You might convince me. And then you stop calling me a month in.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant we were fucking and we were going to kill Vanessa. No, wait. No, we're going to fake your death. We're fucking. Vanessa goes to prison. I thought I was Angie in this case and you were
I think
Nick.
Both of us in this case were Libby. And we were hypothetically coming up with, why would we give it to an Abby instead of our parents?
Oh, I do think in this movie, they do allude to the fact that Libby alludes to the fact that her growing up was not great, that dad has some problems, and they kind of like point to that. I think he's a drinker. He might have been abusive in some ways. And so that's why she wanted her to go to Angie. But I agree with you. If anything were to happen to me or to Sarah, like our daughter is going to live with family. She's not going to live with a friend, no matter how good that friend is, because the person who raised me, the person who raised Sarah, our siblings, like those are people who are more in line with us. And also like, we know that structure. Like if my sister or my mom, were going to do anything untoward, to a child, they would have done it to me already, right? Things went pretty well, as far as I know.
Well, I will say this to you, Gene, right?
Yes.
So you know how the president, there is the levels of succession, right? So if like the president gets killed, it goes to the VP all the way down.
Yeah.
You are the first rung, for me at least, on non-family.
Like Secretary of Agriculture.
No, you're above that. I think you're like the Speaker of the House.
Wow.
Because my parents,
I'm honored.
I would do my parents, or you're on there. You're the first congressional member or the agricultural, but you were the first non-family member that I would consider. I think you would do a good job.
I'm flattered. I would put you above the king bee for what it's worth. Well, for anyone out there contemplating murdering someone who faked their death and put you in prison, I want you to know that Margaret's legal advice in this film is completely wrong. Okay. My guess, this is a Gene theory, is that the other inmates were just pulling a really fucked up prank on Libby. They're like, hey, guess what? If you get out of here, you can go kill that guy and nothing will happen to you. And then they're just like waiting for it to happen, right? And I'm surprised that her former law professor, parole officer, Travis, didn't advise her otherwise. If anything, he actually confirms it. He's like, yeah, no, she's absolutely right. You absolutely can be prosecuted for killing someone who faked their death, even if you were convicted of that crime. You would be exonerated of the original crime and then convicted of fucking killing them. A crime, to be clear here, it's not just the doing of a thing. It's the date, the instance, the location, right? Specifically when you did it. Okay. It's like, Big D, if I went and shoplifted on May 1st, if I went to Sam Goody's and stole a CD, okay?
Sam Goody's?
Yeah.
Jesus, you're
or
dating
the warehouse,
yourself.
right? And then I do the time for the shoplifting. I can't get out of jail and then go back and shoplift from Sam Goody again. I can't go get that Spin Doctors album and not go to prison.
No, you can't. And I wish I'd had this sound. My soundboard skills are low. I should have been ready for you, Gene.
Dong dong.
I should have been. I could have done it for you. And Gene, I need to talk more about law, right? So hold on.
Yeah.
Tell me. Gene, welcome back to Shat Law. And I got to tell you, first off, legal problems I got here. There is no fucking way that she is only getting 6 years. There is no chance. Yeah, she has no.
It's parole after 6 years.
Parole after 6 years, right? But her sentence would have been 20 years to life.
Sure.
In my Shat research, right? I'm not a Shat attorney, but I play one on this podcast. I think her parole eligibility would have been much more than 6 years, and according to my research, average probably would have been about 12 years because it was the exaggerated, aggressive, violent nature of the crime, and that it left a child without any parents. She
Your
is
Honor,
not.
May I approach the bench?
Yes.
Are we talking manslaughter or like third degree or negligent homicide? What are we going with here? Because I mean, are they establishing that it's a premeditated murder? Because I think they're probably saying it was. Oh no, I think with the intoxication stuff, they're probably going with like a passion.
Manslaughter.
Oh no, but you're right because of the insurance money and all that. It probably was. They are probably going first degree. Yeah,
it was just a shitty execution of a premeditated murder.
Yeah. Should have meditated longer.
Well, she wasn't prepared for him to fight back, maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Also, did I have like the Mandela effect here? I thought there was going to be a scene at the end where he was afraid of sailing because he couldn't swim. That was a different movie.
What?
Yes, there's a movie where the character is on a boat and it would, I know what it is.
What about Bob?
No, it's like a Jennifer Lopez movie where the wife would, I think it is.
Enough?
No, maybe. Yes, it's Enough. Where the wife
the Krav Maga
pretended
movie.
She couldn't swim. She then trained herself to swim and she escaped on a sailboat because she had secretly learned to swim. I thought that's what this happened. And it wasn't.
Oh, I don't think that was Enough. Enough was the one where she shows up. Okay, in Enough, for people, we're talking about like, getting yourself in legal trouble. Okay, she knows that if it's self-defense, she could kill this guy and it'd be okay because she's in self-defense. So Jennifer
Sleeping
Lopez,
with the enemy. Sleeping with the enemy.
Sleeping with the enemy. Okay, so
Julia
Jennifer
Roberts.
Lopez, she studies Krav Maga.
All right.
And one of the big marketing gimmicks for Krav Maga back in the day was the hand wraps. You had to wear hand wraps for every class, and I've wore hand wraps for years. I prefer, as you can see here, I don't know if you guys can see these, but these those are
deadly weapons.
right there. Yeah, you see those things? So anyway, I mean, they are refined. But anyway, I prefer bare knuckle. They did the hand wrap. So she shows up at the guy's apartment and she's like, what's going on? You know, whatever. And she puts the fucking hand wraps on, which like, if the police show up and you're like, you put your hand wraps on at what point when he attacked you? Did you have the hand wraps on? You know, whatever. That's, you're going to prison. Anyway, we've talked before about how blockbusters from the 90s needed to have everything baked in, right? Because people were spending their hard-earned dollars, their hard-earned 90s dollars, and they wanted to see a little bit of everything. So you had to have a little action, a little romance, a little comedy, and Double Jeopardy follows that rule. As you and Rob mentioned, we get some Ashley Judd titties and ass dimples earlier in the movie. Yes. We get a chase scene, we get a mystery, and even a few laughs, but it's not a slapstick. It's not an unappealing laugh in this movie. It's like a little smile on your face, right? It's a chortle. It's classy. There's that dude that's freaking out at the library because he's hitting on her, and she says that she's on parole for murdering her husband, doing a little slicing, dicing. And there's a little bit of booping cars and a Puget sound. Like, it's fun. It lightens the mood. It loosens up the rules. And I think this was really helpful for me in digesting the rest of the film, because the movie's telling you, hey, this movie is just a bit of fun. Don't think too much about it. Don't take it too seriously.
And it makes a huge difference, because it's not constantly taking itself so serious. And I know Travis, you've got Tommy Lee Jones. He is that surly old bastard, right? And he is this by the book, heartless parole officer. We know he's got this backstory about his wife and he had lost custody of his kids or whatever. But I was not expecting him to walk into an ex-parolee's job at the DMV and openly start saying like, hey, honey, don't you remember you used to suck dick? Perform fellatio in front of her coworkers. I'm like, dude, we're getting dick jokes in the DMV, and this woman's like covering her tits, and she's like, no, I'm sorry about that. Little things like that, I think, keep a movie moving, and it makes it fun.
Yeah, he was channeling like a little bit of Men in Black in there, you know, just like he's that same like kind of straight-laced, you know, by the book, but he's gonna let loose every now and then. And it's a great use of Tommy Lee Jones. This is when he's at his best, and I really had a lot of fun with it.
But do you ever feel like Tommy Lee Jones is the same character? Whether it's Men in Black, The Fugitive, it's this, or it's even U.S. Marshals. He's always, he's always that old sour,
but like a little bit of like a heart of gold sort of thing going on there. Yeah,
he's great. Yeah, he's great.
That line from The Fugitive, I didn't do it.
I do not give a damn.
No, I think he just said, I don't care.
I don't care.
You're bringing a little New Orleans charm to it. I appreciate it.
I swear, Jean Devereaux Boutros. Yes.
Well, Libby discovers that Angela married a man named Simon Ryder and was killed in an explosion caused by a natural gas leak. Libby traces Nick to New Orleans, where he's running a hotel as Jonathan Devereaux. Libby confronts Nick, who claims he faked his death to avoid bankruptcy and provide her and Maddie with life insurance money. He says he never believed she would be convicted. Unconvinced, Libby demands to meet Nick at Lafayette Cemetery, number 3, the next day to get Maddie. Libby slips out as her parole officer shows up and informs police that she is in the area.
So, Gene, this movie hinges upon one thing, that Ashley Judd is an attractive, affluent, white woman who knows how rich people operate. That is the only way. It's not like she is problem-solving clues through research, like Julia Roberts in The Pelican Brief. This all hinges upon the way she has lived her life. It's as a polished, wealthy white woman, she has access to knowledge most people don't. The art gallery guy, he instantly trusts her because of her knowledge of paintings, of specific times, painting techniques, right? The hotel staff, we get a Pretty Woman moment where the woman's kind of sizing her up, and she comes in, and within like 2 minutes, I'm a size 2. The clerk is like, all right, I'm ready to charge this Versace dress to someone's room 420 to whatever the hell her name was. No one questions her because everyone says, wow, she was beautiful. Ooh, the art guy says, oh, she seems so refined. If she's not an attractive woman, if she was poor, she grew up, say, less privileged, if she's rough around the edges, even a little bit, there's no way she's sneaking into that bachelor auction. She sneaks in because she's like, oh, where's that dress from? Oh, I wore this when we met the president. That shit only works because of who she is, right? This whole revenge fantasy only works if you are knowledgeable in the elite spaces.
2 thoughts on this. One, I'm so proud of you. in your evolution, in your development, and that you're recognizing privilege, and really leaning into the fact that some people, the world works for them in ways that it wouldn't for others. That being said, point 2 is you wouldn't get mad at Superman for being powered by Earth's yellow sun. You wouldn't get mad at Batman for having billions of dollars in research and development. Libby is a rich, white, attractive woman with butt dimples, but she's still a woman, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't get a lot of women revenants in our movie lead roles. I feel like we can't blame her for using what she has to her advantage.
No, I'm not blaming her.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying she is uniquely talented and uniquely, she's perfectly fit for this situation. If you put her in any other crime, any other like setup, she would be completely lost and she would spend her life in jail. If it was like death at a polo match, like somebody set her up that like she murdered someone with one of those mallets at like the Kentucky Derby or fucking
it should have been. Wait, first of all, the Kentucky Derby is not polo.
No, I'm just giving whatever. They were at the Kentucky Derby. The mallet was there and she beat someone over the head while they were yachting and she poisoned the escargot. That shit she could get herself out of. Yeah. Anything else, she's lost.
She had her Owala bottle. And she was wearing her.
She was wearing that weighted vest as she was like doing Pilates and hot goat yoga. That's the shit she's going to get out of there. Wearing her Lululemons, and she could identify the different type of Lululemon pants. Yeah. That's
ABC pants.
That's her super fucking power.
I'm assuming that in order to pull off this, like, getting one wife convicted of murder, getting another wife blown up by a gas leak, that Nick /Simon /Jonathan, he had to move around a lot, right? Mm-hmm. To adopt new identities. Even though, curiously, he's got the same son, right? So like Maddie's still there, which to me would be a red flag to every law enforcement agency in America. They're like, people keep going to prison and dying, and Maddie just keeps going with some dude with a different name each time. That's weird. But Double Jeopardy went to really great lengths to give us this tour of America, and Rob called it out, right? We get to see Washington State, San Francisco, Colorado, New Orleans, and this final act of the film, right? This final setting, it just cemented my belief, Big D, that New Orleans is America's greatest treasure. Like all the other cities look cool. New Orleans is on another level. And this is 1999 French Quarter. Okay. It looks exactly the way it did when I first landed in New Orleans. I got a little teary-eyed. I wish we could go back to this era of New Orleans. And I know we had a great time there for my bachelor party, but God, it looks so beautiful here.
So my personal experience, 98 was my first Mardi Gras. Drove down with a group of friends in a like caravan, like a minivan. Then I went back 2001 when I was in the Army. Tom Brady wins his first Super Bowl. Went back 2 weeks later. It is great. I really do love the French Quarter. It's unique. It is a very special part of America. But I think, Gene, the movie also answers your question here about moving with Maddie. He doesn't keep Maddie in his life. It's easy to identify the two together. He ships them off. We can assume that Maddie has not been really part of his life. Maddie's been out of state, separated in private school, so it's not going to raise too many red flags, other than Maddie being like, hey, they told me mom's dead, and him maybe doing research on his own. But I think it's plausible to believe he could have still flew under the radar.
Do you think, we're going to get some tinfoil here. Do you think that Nick killed Angie because Angie started asking too many questions or had a change of heart? Because clearly if he doesn't want to raise the kid, then Angie would be ideal, but he does kill her.
I think that Angie was a tool. She was a means to an end, that she was not important to him in the end. And you got to tie up the loose ends.
Yeah.
It's a smart move. Got to kill Angie. But in a big explosion, that's risky. You got insurance, you got people coming in from the city, they're checking like the actual building. Just kill her, maybe a drug overdose, she disappears, something like that.
Goes overboard on a boat after getting stabbed.
Could happen.
At Lafayette Cemetery, Nick has a local boy lure Libby into one of the mausoleums and entombs her alive. She frees herself as Layman visits Jonathan's office and begins to doubt her guilt. Layman intercepts Libby, who breaks down sobbing, And then he goes to Nick's hotel and agrees to a $100,000 bribe to keep quiet. Libby then enters the room with Lehman's gun, saying she can kill Nick with no consequences. Double Jeopardy.
So, Gene, we get the ultimate New Orleans scene. They're in one of those old cemeteries.
Lafayette number 3.
And we meet fake Maddie, who's like some street kid, whatever, he'll do anything for some money. And I think it's executed pretty well. Watching it now, it's obvious. Why would you trust Nick? Why would you go anywhere with Nick? It worked at the time when I first thought. I actually jumped when Nick comes around the corner and knocks her out, right? But in the moment, you're emotionally invested because we're on her side. We're pulling for Libby to fucking kill Nick, get her kid back, prove she's innocent. And that's a sign of a good movie where we're pulling for her. But then a couple seconds later, the movie throws it all away. We've got this cold-hearted killer, Nick. He's blown up his wife. He's scarred his child for life. He's taken on a new identity. Why would Nick let her live? Nick knocks her out. She's in a secluded place. He's got her under control. Choke her out. Break her neck. Stab her. Shoot her with her own gun. Do something. We know he will kill people when it matters. Why would he leave her alone?
He's like a Charlie Manson though, right? He never like directly he had Angie blow up, right? Because he couldn't like pull the trigger himself. But Big D, to be honest with you, I'd already lost my patience with Nick at this point. He's so full of shit. He's so unlikable. I didn't understand why Libby was being so chill with him. Like I would not be that chill when he's like, "Hey, do you want me to call Maddie over?" Be like, "Fuck yeah, call him over right now."
Yeah.
End of game, right? In fact, rewind a little bit. I wouldn't call him the next day. I would walk up at that auction. I put a fucking bullet in his brain pan at the Courtyard Gala in front of everybody. But Nick fucks up in a million ways. He's not good at what he does. He bonks her on the head. Then he puts her in a casket. And like you said, he doesn't slit her throat. He doesn't shoot her in the head. She's knocked out. You can kill her at this point, right? Even quietly with a knife. Then he leaves her with a lighter in her pocket. He doesn't pat her down. He knows she wants to kill him. Then he puts her in a casket with her backpack. Who puts the backpack in the casket? There she gets the gun. She shoots her way out. For a master criminal, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Dude, on top of that, she's got a gun in her pocket.
In her backpack.
Fuck the light, whatever it is. But you also let fake Tommy run around. You got to kill Tommy too. You got to kill that little kid. That kid, he did all this for like $20. You tell me he's not going to go to the New Orleans Police Department?
Nah, it's New Orleans. Like they don't, like the bartender said, if there's no reward, they ain't telling.
No, but it makes no sense. Libby should have just immediately, let's just say, should have gone to the police. He's alive. I'm exonerated. I'm going to get my kid back.
Yeah.
That should have been her first story. But instead, we get this whole final gambit and it makes no sense, right? So now you've got Travis, who's on board because he's scarred from previous relationships. He starts to figure out that Nick actually has changed his identity and that Libby was right. And they go into his office and maybe I missed this. Maybe you have to explain it to me. They're going to pretend to blackmail him for $1 million. He then says he'll settle for $100,000. Then Libby comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to frame you for the murder of me, your dead wife. It's this Ocean's 11 bullshit. We're going to plant blood in your trunk. We're going to do a weapon." You've got him. Identity fraud. You've got deception, faking evidence, whatever, making a false police claim. You conspiracy, probably multiple murders. He blew up Angie. Get him in custody. You get your son back. End the nightmare. You're free. You're exonerated. You get maybe the hotel. You get whatever money they have, right? Instead, it's like this Hollywood, theatrical, overcomplicated, dramatic confession scene. Why the fuck did they do this, Gene?
Beyond why the fuck they did this, this goes back to when we were talking about the negotiator, right? So Libby has driven Travis's car into Puget Sound. She hit him in the head with a fucking gun. Okay, could have killed him. Like he could have drowned, right? And yet he's still having this change. I don't care if you're innocent or not. Yeah. After you do that shit to me, I'm taking you down, okay? But beyond that, you're absolutely right. This is an absolutely unnecessary development in the film. I thought the whole point of us watching 10 to 15 excruciating minutes of Travis developing a relationship with New Orleans Police Department's Detective Mangold was to get the NOPD cops on the case and make an arrest. Like he can call his buddy that he's developed now, which then would actually make sense why they had this kind of like buddy cop moment. In again, some sort of like negotiator final stand, right? Like you get everybody together, you get the recording, and then the New Orleans cops pop in and they make the arrest, right? But all that being put aside, the biggest question is why the fuck is Nick still in New Orleans? Okay. You trapped your wife/ex-wife in a mausoleum. Okay. You know, Travis is in town. He's looking into you. He's looking for her. Like the pot is boiling, dude. You need to jump the fuck out of there. I don't understand for a guy who has split every single time, why he doesn't just pick up and move.
Or just kill Travis. Kill him. Lure him. Hey, I found her. Hey, I got to talk to you. Yeah. Kill her. Do something. Yeah. I think we'd be better killers, Gene. If you ever want to plan a murder, let's. I think we could do it.
Well, after Nick discloses that Maddie is at a Georgia boarding school, Lehman reveals that he recorded Nick's confession of burying Libby. Nick pulls a gun, shooting and wounding Lehman. In the ensuing struggle, Libby shoots and kills Nick. Lehman insists that they return to Washington to win her pardon, and they later find Maddie at the boarding school where he recognizes Libby, saying he had been told she was dead, and they embrace. I understand what I just described is supposed to be a happy ending, but I think the Double Jeopardy might have some issue understanding human emotions because there is the looming aftermath of Libby shooting Nick that nobody addresses. Yes, she is reunited with her son after 6 long years, but this woman who just got out of prison is now going to have to manage a relationship with a boy whose father she shot dead. And to be crystal clear on this one, it's not like she could be like, he was trying to kill me, so I shot him, Maddie. That second shot, he was incapacitated. She shot to kill him. She intentionally killed this boy's father and now is supposed to live the rest of their life happily ever after.
Dude, this whole ending, if you just think about it, right? This family, Maddie's life.
Kid's fucked.
Yeah. His family is built on a lie. Mom is dead. He's dealt with that trauma for like 6 years. He remembers her. They told me you were dead. Okay, so now, hey, son, dad's a psychopath. You know, mom is actually alive. Oh, but she's killed him. And Aunt Angie, who blew up in your house, that was actually her friend, Angie, who helped dad and her fake the death to frame mom, who then you lost 6 years with her. This kid is going to need all kinds of psychological, he needs therapists. He's got a burden. Who do you be angry at? I've lived with dad for years. She killed him, but then dad, this kid is all kinds of fucked up.
It's a good thing that he's in a very supportive place like boarding school. So nothing could possibly go wrong.
He is, yes, this is all of a sudden, I wish you could see her in therapy as she comes to realization. Maybe I should have just gotten my husband arrested and had some form of formal therapy for my son. Yeah. Remove one thing, his dad's death. But doesn't.
Well, now is the time in the podcast to give our Shat score for Double Jeopardy. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get off your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It's an hour with Jerome. He's fantastic. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's performing the art of fellatio for a living. Big D, please do the honors.
So Rob H said, I think 1.9. So I'm in line with that. And I'm going to go back to last week's film for him, The Negotiator. Because The Negotiator and Double Jeopardy, there is a lot in common. You have to overlook a lot of logic problems. They're not realistic. It's not the way that the police would act. But there is one big difference. There's some emotional engagement. Double Jeopardy, we're actively pulling for Libby. We want Libby to get Nick. We want her to go find her son. And that does a lot of the heavy lifting. We want to see the husband punished. And it makes it so much easier to accept being handcuffed to a car and driving off into the Puget Sound. And as a movie that focuses on revenge, the momentum keeps going because it's fun. It was so much easier for me to enjoy when it is fun and engaging and you care. So for that, I got to go 1.75 wipes.
First off, for The Negotiator, there was the entire ha-ha scene with Kevin Spacey and his daughter, who called
it was like
his
the first
wife
5 minutes
thick
of the movie.
or whatever. It was a laugh.
That was to establish
It was a laugh.
No, it was very predictable.
I really had a good time with this movie, Rob, and I'm stupid for any film that includes New Orleans, which is bar none the greatest city since Paris. But like most thrillers that we've seen on this podcast, Double Jeopardy makes the mistake of jumping the shark after being intelligent and restrained for the first 90 minutes. And that kills me, right? It's like when a movie is smart and clever and the setup and the meat of it is good, and then they just feel like, I don't know if they feel like the audience needs something huge and epic and crazy to close out the movie. We generally don't. Like, we generally just need something smart that's satisfying in a way. I would have been satisfied. It would have been a very different movie, right? If she just blew his brains out. It would have been shocking, right? Just roll credits. Whoa, right at the gala. Boom, done. You know, or again, like if it would have been this sort of simple thing where instead of going through all the elaborate ruse, the cops just circled in on him right after she broke out of the mausoleum, right? She directs the police to him, whatever it is. But I feel like they just pushed too hard. Icarus flying too close to the sun. I'm going to have to go 2.5 wipes on this one.
Gene, even go with the ending of The Negotiator. The whole time they just have a microphone on and he's broadcasting his confession.
And then Travis shoots her in the belly?
No, the whole thing, he's going in there. When you get Travis in there, the whole point is to just broadcast it to police. When he confesses, police come and arrest her. She runs. She goes, finds the son. Much better.
Take it a step further. He pulls the gun, blows his own brains out. Roll credits.
Again, Shawshank.
Fine.
Yes, that's the warden's ending. I would definitely take that. Because this prison, this woman's prison, is very different than the Shawshank prison. In men's prisons, it seemed like you have to worry about rape, getting shanked and beaten up all the time. These women's prison got hair salons. You can start getting your vibe check. You like do your fit check. You make yourself pretty, do yourself up. Very different prison experience for men and women. Maybe it was a fancy white woman prison. I don't know.
All right, Rob. Well, we with the score of 2.5 wipes from me and 1 3/4 wipes from Big D, that gives us an average wipe score of 2.125 wipes for Double Jeopardy.
So, Gene, now I think we're going on almost like 500 movies. So I think this film, it falls a little bit higher than the middle. It's in 212, ties with films like Stripes, Airplane, Hackers,
Not
Bad
bad.
Boys, Face Off, 8mm, and Three Kings.
I mean, again, I think we've gotten to the point where anything above 2.5 is like a solidly decent movie. And 2.5 is even not bad. Like, it's something I would watch for sure.
Definitely.
Not like the garbage these kids are putting out these days.
But I think of all of Rob's commissions lately, like the 2.12, it's the closest to what he hoped for. Now, whether or not he hedged
He's
his
starting
bets,
to scale it down.
Yes, he's hedged his bets that he thought, hey, listen, they're going to completely, I'm going to go a little bit closer. I don't know. Rob could only tell us that, but I think this is the closest of his films to what we finally came out with.
I think, what Rob does really well is he picks movies that, had I seen them in the theater at the time, I would have been like, whoa, he's not accounting for the 20 years since in which I've, developed a bit of a snooty attitude. So anyway, but Rob, thank you so much for your commission. And that closes out our month of Rob. Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, next week, a group of high school friends, terrified of graduating without any romantic experience, make a pact to finally change their luck before the school year ends. What follows is a series of awkward plans, humiliating disasters, terrible advice, and moments that somehow seem completely reasonable in the late 90s. Between wild parties, confidence schemes, and nonstop embarrassment, the guys slowly learn that growing up is a lot messier than they expected. It's raunchy, ridiculous, and way more heartfelt than you usually remember. Next week, we're watching the story about teenage panic, friendship, and one dessert that was never meant to become this famous. Came out in 1999. I remember where I saw this, who I saw it with, the theater. Budget was $11 million, and it made almost $240 worldwide. This is a big one and long overdue.
For people who grew up in the same generation or same years that I did, this movie brought back like the teen sex comedy. Most of my teen years, the teen sex comedy did not exist, right? It was a thing of the 80s. And this brought it back. And then there were so many great movies that came after this. It is a monumental landmark movie. I can't believe we haven't done it yet. And I'm really excited for this one. Watching it right now as soon as we finish this recording, actually.
I hope it holds up.
I'm pretty drunk, so I think it'll be okay. Got my tater tots in the air fryer. It's a party.
You got yourself a warm pie?
Yeah.
You can test it out. Gene, tell us how it works. Is it similar? You could maybe make it like a TikTok short.
Yeah.
Like King B's instant reviews.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, he's done 2. People are starting to message me and being like, hey, your disclaimer was right. He got food poisoning on the road. So that's the reasoning. But he's currently in McKinney, Texas.
I'd pay $10 to watch him fuck a pie.
Oh, shit.
Or at least tell me what it was like. I don't want to watch it. Yeah. Review his sex with a pie.
Well, thank you, Paul, for the upcoming commission. Sorry about Middlesbrough. Tough break on Saturday. As always, up the borough. Thank you to Rob H. For your month of Rob. We really appreciate your support. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat the Movies. Be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat the Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by buying our merch or commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, Watchmen. Find all information on the website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever fine podcasts be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And if you stop at Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Helps the podcast grow. And for those who are asking, no, it is not too late to order a 500th episode patch. In fact, we haven't started taking orders yet, but they are on their way. So it is confirmed 100% they are happening. They will be sublimated patches with the Velcro backing on them, so you can slap them on anything that has a Velcro hook and loop closure to it, or sew them on if you want. But we will have them up soon. Pricing is going to be very reasonable. We're just breaking even on them, including shipping. So we just want to get these to as many people as possible. And just as a reminder, there will only be 50 of them. And once they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you get your order in as soon as we put that up. We'll mark it on social media. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, keep an eye out. On behalf of my co-host Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Be sure to join us next time for the following movie.
In their May issue, Movie Line magazine released its top summer movies to see after Star Wars.
Austin Powers.
American Pie.
Wild Wild West. Eyes Wide Shut. Notting Hill.
Which makes us ask the question, why American Pie?
Okay, well, one time at band camp, I stuck a flute.
Is it the getting caught?
Hey, Jimmy. Just wanted to say sweet dreams.
Yeah. Good night, Mom.
I think he's trying to watch some illegal channels here.
Illegal channels? This is just bad reception of it.
Oh, baby.
What's that? You know what? Here, just give me this, and let's get this.
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with this thing here?
The awkward moments.
I want the right time, the right moment, the right place.
It's not a space shuttle launch, it's sex.
The infatuation.
I love you.
Okay.
The desperation.
What exactly does it feel like? Warm apple pie.
The fascination.
Huh? We'll just tell your mother that.
About on sex day. I really don't need you to sit here talking to me about it.
Uh-oh, come here.
Uh-oh. Oh.
I said that Gene would be like on the top level. Say, because in the movie, everyone's dead. Who do you leave the kid with?
Everyone's not dead.
In the movie we're doing. I said everyone's dead.
There's one guy dead.
Well, if you had no family and we had to do just friends, right? Okay. I said that Gene would be on the top level for me as friends that I would leave Emma with.
Yes.
You agree?
Well, Sarah.
Vanessa says yes.
It would be more. Oh, thank you.
No, it's Sarah and you. He's like, oh, just Sarah. No, it's both of you.
Yeah.
You would provide a good, stable life for her.
I feel the same.
I know him
more
than Sarah.
Yes, and Vanessa said she knows you more than Sarah, so she would definitely.
Yeah, but tell her about the volleyball scholarship, though.
Oh, and he said also that Sarah had a volleyball scholarship, and she could guarantee basically Emma would get a volleyball scholarship.
See, got that height.
He said you're doing a better job than we are.